Hello and welcome to Trail Building 101. Today we're going to be talking about when is the best time of the year to trail build. And of course, the best time to trail build is every day because it's always great. It's always great to get outside. It's always great to get exercise, change it up from riding, make the world a better place. But there are definitely some times of the year that are better than others for trail building. All right, train. Here in Ontario, aka Ontarable, the best time for trail building is definitely early spring or late fall. So in the spring, the snow has just melted. It rains a lot in both of those times a year, so the ground is soft. And what that means is that it's much easier to manipulate, which means it requires less work to do all the things you want to do. And of course, less work means you can get more done in less time, but it's also cooler in early spring and late fall. Trail building is hard work, and I find like the best temperatures are just above zero, like even while it's snowing, to about 15 degrees. Anything over 15 degrees, and I'm talking Celsius here, and you're sweating buckets. Those cooler temperatures also mean less people outside. If you're building on the DL, obviously you don't want people seeing you. People are soft, they don't want to go outside, it's cold, it's wet. One disadvantage of building in the spring and the fall is the lack of cover. As you can see behind me, things are just starting to get green. So it doesn't offer a lot of cover if you're trying to build on the DL. And if you're building in some place that's a real hot spot, you may want to wait until another time to do that building. So what are some other good times to be trail building? Rainy days, not just in early spring and late fall, are ideal days to be out building. You can't ride, and there are fewer people out because it's wet and it's cold. All good things for trail building. Obviously not always great. If you're doing a lot of dirt work and it's been raining a lot, that dirt's gonna turn into mud. It's gonna stick to your boots, stick to your tools. It kind of sucks, but that's not the only building you can do. Scoping, you can be marking, you can be cribbing, you can be gathering raw materials. There are lots of things you can be doing in the rain. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but it's not that unusual that I'm out building at night. It's actually a great time to build. If you're building in like a hot spot, nighttime is great. People can't see you, they can only hear you. And if you're smart, you won't make any noise. If you live in an urban center like Toronto, then it never really gets pitch black, so you can usually build. Although sometimes maybe you have to do it by feel. And, you know, again, if you're building in early spring or late fall, the darkness isn't as like late or as early as you would think. You know, you could get up pretty early in the morning, like 5 a.m., and it won't be light for a couple hours. No one's out, no one's up. And the same thing, like it gets dark at like 5 p.m. In November here in Ontario. So it's not really staying out till 3 or 4 a.m., though you could do that. But yeah, nighttime, really great for building. Winter building sounds maybe as crazy as night building, but it's another really great time to build. And I do a ton of building into winter. It's a great time, especially right before the ground freezes. And the ground freezes a lot later than you might think. If it's buried under leaves like this right here, the ground will be thawed even though it'll be well below zero or well below freezing, depending on where you are. So winter is fantastic, and even if the ground does freeze, you can still do all of those things that you could do while it's raining. You can go out and scope your land, you can mark it, you can, you know, like clear stuff, get your cribbing in order, you can do your cutting. Winter's a great time for cutting. It's a really good time to build, and of course, once again, fewer people outside. They're warming their cockles as you're out there busting your ass, building great trail. This may come as a surprise, but summer, I find anyways, is the worst time to build, at least here in Ontario. Obviously, again, building is super hard work. You have to wear a lot of clothes when you're building, protective gear, pants, boots, gloves. If you are gonna build in the summer, get ready to sweat. Bring like a sweat cloth, bring lots of water, and just, you know, be prepared to feel dirty and gross. Although that's my experience, maybe you're lucky enough to be building beside a lake. Another reason why summer kind of sucks is that all the moisture is out of the soil. So it's either rock hard, so stuff like clay just turns into like rock. It's really difficult to move, or it's powder. So anything that you're trying to do from a sculpting perspective just kind of like puffs and doesn't hold its shape. Plus, summer, people are everywhere. I mean, especially during COVID. The only building I do during summer are fixes, things that need to get done, things that don't take as much work, and that are like, you know, a little bit easier to do as opposed to like full trail builds. If I haven't made it completely clear, the best time of the year is definitely spring and fall. Ideally, the earlier in spring, the later in fall. That way you can maximize your riding time. It's also the wettest, at least here in Terrible. So that's my experience. Perhaps you have a different building experience. Please let me know. Also, I hope you learned something. And as always, I will see you in the comments and see you on the trails. Thank you so much for watching.